The best streams always start with me cracking my knuckles. Mm. I tell you, this has been one of the more difficult streams to find a title for. I really was debating just putting general topics or something, but I'm probably not going to, resort to something like that. Um, I was interested in addressing what I call a problem with something that I really hate that people like to do. So I've said before that one of the more irritating parts of the I guess, online interactions is that you see a lot more of this attempt to be as antagonistic as possible to somebody else. And that when people do this, it's often at the expense of reality. So if I were to talk to, let's say, a person in real life about, you know, being unemployed, for example, and I told the person about the various positions that I had applied to and whatnot, I've seen in most instances, very few where it's not this way, where the person at least is sympathetic to the fact that there's an individual, referring to myself, who wants to be hired, but these different places aren't willing to give that person a shot. And it's understood that you only, as the person who's applying, have so much power in that circumstance. You can try to appeal to these people, you can fulfill whatever obligations they assign to you, whether that's to attend interview at a certain time, but you ultimately cannot hire yourself. That's in the hands of the employer. It was the same thing with the voice actor situation, where every person I told in real life said the same thing. You give these people the time to do something, and they choose to not say anything back. They choose to not log into their account. And it's out of your hands as to whether or not those people are going to honor their commitment or symbolically stick a middle finger in your face by not doing the thing that they signed up for. And I always said that the reason you can tell that I'm in the right with that situation is because with a lot of the final messages or resignation text that they write out, there's a common theme of them apologizing, saying sorry. And I've never seen a situation where a person, direct or right, mistreated somebody and they were tempted to apologize to that same person who allegedly mistreated them. And I haven't specifically had people allege that I've mistreated the VAs. Um, but again, it goes with that whole thing of bad things only happen to a person that deserves it, um, which I always think is such a ridiculous fallacy, um, because people don't know what happened with a lot of these situations, and based off of the information given to them, it would appear that I was sympathetic to these voice actors. I mean, I don't know of any time I've worked on something where the person involved or the head honcho or whatever term you want to use waited 7 months for me to respond back to them. And then I said, oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm not actually going to do this. I just think objectionably, I was very decent in that scenario. But it's one of those things where I really used to sit back and feel, I guess, non-binary got rid of their avatar. But I used to feel bad for just having that happen over and over again. Um, because I thought at some point, if you give people the time to do something, they will do it, they will stay on it, you can work with them. And instead, it just seems like it's a fruitless task to give these people the time to do stuff in most cases. Because if they're just going to quit at some unspecified time out of nowhere and leave you hamstruck, I don't really see the point in exercising this type of patience with them. And that was why with the newest one that quit, I actually said to them, if I had not been backstabbed twice in 4 months by two different, not 4 months, yeah, 3 months by two different voice actors, I would be more sympathetic toward you, not saying anything back. But I can't justify sitting around waiting for you to respond, knowing that this is likely the road you're going to go down, because they always start off with barely saying anything and then they finally come out and admit, oh no, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, non-binary, I'm discussing how people are so um what's a good way of saying it? Eager to blame you over that. That's why I did those the most blamed man of all time streams. And I was like thinking about the I've been criticized for everything video, and how when I did that video, I was showing all these different screenshots, me being attacked over my appearance and all these different types of ways. And I was completely content with the views that the video got. 100 views is good for me. It's something I don't get that often. I had no complaints with the amount of people that watched it. I simply said that because of the, I believe, extra effort I had put into it, I would like to see people comment about the topics that were discussed. And an individual proceeded to appear on my stream and accused me of being perpetually disenchanted or some trash. But it was really funny to watch them say, "Why do you stay on YouTube?" I'm like, well, I don't have a problem with the content I make, and I just simply wanted to see people respond to it in a way that a lot of other people would. I've never seen anybody who puts a video on this website, unless it's unlisted or private, that they don't want people to watch. The martyr of all the problems that you had no control over. But that's what I'm saying. I can't control if people watch my damn video, and I sure as hell can't control if they comment on it. But you know, that's why I made the request, taking people comments on this video. You sound perpetually disenchanted. Why do you even stay on here? Like, well, I'm supposed to leave because of what somebody else does or doesn't do. Like, we could go through every stream I did up to that point, and I swear to you, there is no specific video other than that one and maybe another in the last whole year that I asked people to comment on, because I actually want to hear what my subscribers had to say. And I didn't, it's like, again, I don't want to go back to that topic because I did address it in the like why, people shame you for having normal wants video. But there's been a lot of instances, just to go back to this thing of being the martyr or the scapegoat for this stuff, where you'll get blamed for something somebody else does. Like, I would have people, oh, if you want people to watch your video, buy this mic and buy this and buy. And I said, I'm supposed to believe that after I extol some excess of wealth and all these different little equipment things, that people who weren't watching my stuff before are now going to suddenly be enchanted and turned on to check this stuff out. And I said, when you make recommendations like that about all this equipment this person needs to buy to get somebody to watch a little video, um, it is not considering realistic concerns. And I've talked about this before, where I don't really control, what's the way of saying it? There's certain stuff where, for example, I used to have a different setup and that got messed with because of somebody else's decision. So there's things that even if I were to get them, I still couldn't completely control the way in which every video looks, because there's another person that factored into that. But again, it goes back to this idea of people wanting to, assign all of the blame to you. Oh, once you get this stuff, all these people who didn't want to watch your crap before, they're going to now magically appear. And I said, listen, if they want to watch a video, they will watch a video. We don't need to have some enormous setup to get people to to click on something. Everyone wants to be a streamer. And it's like, going back to the realism of it, right? You live somewhere where people can mess with stuff in certain places, and I'm supposed to like have this intricate setup to get people to watch me. Again, it's a solution that's not practical to reality. It's not something I can do based off of where I live. And I'm not going to move somewhere so two more people can watch a video. It's stupid. Now, non-binary, that woman thing will really drive somebody insane. And I do want to do a video on how people like deal with one. In some cases, she'll beg you for money. In some cases, she'll cheat on you. In some cases, she'll blackmail you. You know, there's a lot of little different stuff that people don't discuss anymore because there's this push to make the act of getting with a woman seem like it's going to lead to you living happily ever after, when in a lot of cases, a bunch of issues arise for you that you would have never experienced if you were single, because this person brings their problems with you, with them to you rather. It speaks to the privilege of these people on the internet. But you know what I'm talking about, non-binary, the fantasy, the unrealistic fantasy. Remember in the video I was talking about how they want everybody to do like the same stuff to appeal to someone. Second, let me click this thing. And I really had to sit there. I was like, there's never going to be a day I don't get blamed for the decisions of a bunch of random bras these people have never met. Because when you talk to them in so many different types of ways, a lot of that advice stuff people give doesn't even factor into it. Like when you have people trashing the way you look and saying that's the reason you're not with somebody, when you got rejected on websites like Reddit where they didn't even see what you looked like, you get where that's ironic, where it's almost like a silent confirmation of how they just assume a bunch of stuff, and like their assumptions are always antagonistic to you, so you know you always have to wear the pity and the blame. It's really ridiculous. I even said at the end of the video, I don't have telepathic powers yet, so I can't make somebody go on a date with me. But I do think it is worth discussing like the different pitfalls that relationships have, because that guy that got with the dingbat with the baby, I always mention him because that is someone who literally lost a whole bunch of money, got cheated on, now has a kid he can't afford. Like all this awful stuff happened to him by virtue of getting with this woman. Like and it's comedic to it gets sad in a way, but it's also comedic to me because people online try to make relationships seem so great and amazing and they're worth doing all this stuff for. And I said before that I spoke to my parents, I spoke to my best friend's parent. Well, he spoke to them rather. And they all reached the same conclusion, which was that there is no that in their experiences they had all dated multiple people before either getting married, having some long-term relationship. So it's not a normal thing to just get turned down over and over and over again for an excess of years, and then there's this one person that finally says yes and doesn't play around with you and trick you and whatnot. That it was just expected that as a person of adolescence, young adult, you would have multiple partners to further the chance of you finding someone that you actually, connected with in some manner. And when you have people who tell you it's normal to just get rejected every year for 10 years until this one broad comes around, they're putting a lot of, what's a good way of saying it, fate, faith rather, into this one person to not screw it up. When that person could cheat on you, they could decline to go on another date after the first one. And then you're right back to square one. And then you're supposed to be optimistic after it took 10 years to get this one person to go on a date. You're not supposed to say the hell with this. Yeah, I'll go to my grave knowing that a lot of the attacks I got on my physical appearance is from other men whose faces I've never seen. Well, see, that's the elephant in the room, non-binary. I've never, out of all these guys that like talk about the chick stuff and like are antagonistic to me, I've never seen what a single one of them looks like. Or what's a good way of saying it? The ones who write the nastiest comments tend to hide their faces, and I've never seen a single one of them show proof they're with a woman. You see, a lot of people really don't take into consideration these important details to why things are the way they are. Well, Megumi, will you agree with me that um, even if you get a woman, let's say, to go on a date with you after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years of approaching, she still can decline to go on another date, terminate the relationship before it even starts. Um, and then you, in the aftermath of that, will feel as if you're definitely screwed now because if it took 10 years just to go on one date, who's to say it won't take another 10 to do that again? No, I really want to do that video about how men are set up to fail, how people tell them to do things, and then when it doesn't work out, they like get mad at the man. Like when they say you need to have this amount of money or whatever the hell, and then all you can ever be around is gold diggers. And they're like, "Oh, you don't have to date." It's like, but you set him up for that. You told the man to have a bunch of money. You told the woman that they were, fine as they were. So is it any surprise that when she gets with the man, she's begging him every 10 seconds for coins? Think about it. They set you up to fail. They tell you to jump through this hoop. They tell her she's fine. She doesn't have to jump through anything. And then when it happens and you see how uneven it is, they're like surprised that these things go down in flames or people are as miserable as they are. Then they use the "you have entitlement issues" line. Yeah. I said before, this is one of the craziest topics I've seen ever. Just this is the only topic in the world where you can have the same thing happen to you over and over again, and people just tell you to keep going, just keep trying, keep holding out hope. And I gave that example in my video. You would never see a person who wanted to be a rapper spend 10 years making music and never getting signed to a single record label be told to keep trying. They would say, "Hey, you're 30, you need to go do something else. This isn't working." I just think this topic really brings out the worst in people. Like I had a stream where I got called mediocre, got accused of having no upward mobility, just all this nasty stuff that was said of me, not because I had done something to someone, but because I wasn't with the woman. As if you are never allowed to be disappointed with the conclusion you didn't want. Well, you see that they'd like to spoof or make fun of men who get angry over getting turned down, and it's really crazy to me because I've never seen a topic or a situation, right, that doesn't go the way you want, that people express anger at, where it's like it's suddenly a bad thing. Like if you get angry that somebody didn't hire you, nobody's going to make fun of you. If you get angry that you broke your toe, nobody's going to get make fun of you. If you get angry that you can't do a show that you do all the work except do the voices of because the voice actors quit, nobody would get upset at you. It's only the chick stuff where it's like, "Oh, this person got turned down, ha ha," or like, "Oh my God, he's going to do something violent." It's like, but what reaction would you have other than anger at this thing that you put years into never changing? Like, what emotion would you have if something that you wanted to see change stayed the same year after year, no matter what you did, no matter how hard you tried? What reaction would you have to a situation where people who weren't even there accuse you of things to feel better about your circumstance despite being completely ignorant of how this came about? They don't consider any factors. They just spout stuff off at the mouth. No, Megumi, they really do deify relationships. Like they've actually made it seem like the hardest part of a relationship is getting one. And then no matter who you get with, it's happily ever after. That's why you have to jump through all these hoops because this perfect woman is going to show up and be so amazing and nice and never beg you for money and never cheat on you, and you're going to find her so attractive and she's going to find you so attractive, and there's going to be a little rainbow and a unicorn is going to pop out. I mean, think about it. They never play out the scenario of you approach all these broads year after year. One of them finally says yes. Then after you go on a date, she says, "I'm not interested," and then you're back to square one. They don't want you to think that'll happen because they want you to believe in this idea of this perfect person that is so completely different from everybody you've encountered before. It's like creating a monster and telling your friends they have to keep. Like I said, you would never see anybody say that if a woman wants to get with the man, she has to go to the gym, she has to have money, she has to, like, it would never happen. I told you that that broad that had that guy paying for her storage unit was homeless, and he and like I'm not saying that to make well, I don't really feel that sympathetic because she literally made herself homeless by but whatever. It's like those are the types of scenarios you wouldn't see a man be allowed to get away with. This perfect woman that both of us aren't privy to. I think it's funny that people who've never met you know who you're going to encounter, as opposed like they know better who you're going to encounter than you. But again, if we play devil's advocate and assume that one day, out of the blue, there's going to be this woman that reciprocates your interest, and we've had that happen before. People say they like you back, and then they, you know, change their mind out of the blue. Let's say there's one that reciprocates your interest and then goes on a date. She could say, "I only want to go on one date. Goodbye." And then what are you supposed to do after that? Hold out hope that another one shows up? But again, like I mentioned the thing with my parents and with my friends' parents because it's like it's not a normal thing to just only ever date one person and you meet this dream partner of yours that likes you back in all these different ways. Like it I've never seen it happen before. Like my dad dated multiple women, or I guess girls when he was in high school, but my mother dated multiple men. Uh my grandfather dated like you can just keep like going back and back to all these past generations and no one says yeah man I got turned down when every time with every woman I approached when I was they were from the south in ninth grade and 10th grade and 11th grade and 12th I met her and she liked me and we lived happily ever it never occurred. This is the only generation I've ever seen where like just a bunch of random men who don't even know each other all admit yeah I just kept getting turned down over and over again. Then again, these people really just don't have any empathy for anyone who is in this stagnant situation. No, what they like to do is they try to tell you that you have a problem and you need to change. And it's like, okay, but again, Megumi, are you and are we doppelgangers? Do we share all the same traits? Like, that's why I never believed in this stuff because for as long as I can remember, as far as like approaching chicks, whatever, there's always been classmates of mine, people on the computer who talked about how goddamn difficult it was to get a woman to like them back. And like it doesn't make sense to me where you would find all these problems in this one man for an issue that's affecting so many men. Like I said, you didn't see any of those romance groups in the 80s or 70s or 60s or 50s. Where were they? If this is just how it's always been. But back then it was simple. You didn't have to rely on technology to talk to women. Like, well, I'm not questioning whether it was simple or not. I'm simply stating that have happened to you. But every generation I speak to admits they had multiple partners before getting with someone that they either had a long-term relationship with, married, whatever. So like no person I know who's over the age of 40 concedes, yeah, I just got rejected over and over, and then this one person came and we lived happily ever after. And this is the scenario that has played out for me and other people that you're just going to keep on trying, and then this one person will come along and be so amazing and perfect. And I agree about the technology. Come on, let's not talk about nerds because they're like, what does that even mean? I've seen people call students in college nerds, and there's a whole bunch of people that have graduated from those different Ivy League schools and other schools with girlfriends and wives. So I would hope that we're not going to use nebulous terms like that. Yeah, I never understood that advice. I should want physical health and prosperity for myself, but they will tell you that focusing on yourself will make a woman like you out of the blue. Well, that's why I could never take them seriously because all of the advice they give about you need to do this for yourself, it's all predicated on a woman. Like you're not telling me to go to the gym because you've had access to my medical records and I'm ill or sick or not in shape but because of something you can prove. You're just saying that so that because you believe that'll make some random woman now like me. Now I used to speak to and they pissed me off and I got sick of them and threw them in the, just walked away from them over a year ago. And in December I was feeling pretty generous. So I decided to speak. This is over a year after I stopped speaking to them. Um, I decided to speak to them again. And would you like to know how many times this person scheduled to have a phone call with me and didn't do it? Not once, not twice, not three times, not four times, not five times. Six times in less than 2 weeks. Oh, let's speak tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. Oh, let's speak tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. The next day comes. Oh, let's speak in 2 days. 2 days pass. Oh, let's speak this weekend. This weekend passes. Oh, let's speak on the last day of this weekend, Sunday. Sunday happens. Let's speak on Monday. Monday happened. So I sent this person an email about 2 weeks ago where I ended up effectively just telling them off. I called them a liar. I said, you kept claiming you want to talk to me, blah, 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 blah. And the email was sent as a way of me washing my hands of them, like no longer holding out hope that they were going to actually speak back. And this person responded by saying, "Oh, I do want to speak to you, but my life has become unmanageable." And I was thinking to myself, because this person's a woman, that if the situation was reversed and I had some woman trying to speak to me who I stood up for a phone call six times in a row, um, and then that person sent me some email and I claimed I want to speak to them, but I still wasn't trying to speak to them as I was saying I want to speak to them. I would be held accountable. People would say, hey, this person wanted to talk to you and you didn't make any attempt to reciprocate their interest. And you're the reason why this turned out the way it did, where the person said, all right, to hell with this. But because it's a woman, and because I know that people online love to, play the game of, oh yeah, it's your fault. It's always your fault. Then I just said, what's the point of even getting upset at this person? Because they've got the magic triangle. So I can't expect anybody to use their brain on that one. When I say anybody, I'm referring to the people that want to be as antagonistic as possible. Because I just don't know what I did wrong in that situation. It's a situation that affects so many other guys. So apparently, every guy who is affected with this all have something wrong with them. Yeah, we're all broken. Remember the person that came on my stream and said seek professional help? And I said, imagine believing that someone's mental health is like there's a problem with your mental health, not because you've attacked people, made death threats to other people, just done something that is considered abnormal, but because a woman or women don't want to go on dates with you. Like your mental health is predicated on people who in a lot of cases have barely spoken to you or never met you refusing to on a date. Megumi, imagine if I told your mother that if she couldn't get one of 90 men to say yes to go on a date with her, that meant she was mentally ill. Her mental health is determined by somebody else's actions. Just think of how insane that would be. Megumi says, damn, she really was that busy, huh? I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like this part, I do want to speak to you. That's why I'm not going to answer any of your phone calls. I'm telling you, Megumi, I tried so hard. Because I used to get mad at that same person for doing that, but I just bit my tongue. I just said, okay, I'm not going to say anything about this. And she just wouldn't have a damn call, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, who is so busy to where you schedule to have a call with someone 6 times in a row and you just keep ducking on them. I've never had that happen with any other person I've spoken to besides her. I should get a medal for just my patience. Because like I've never done that to somebody where it's like, I can't speak to you today. Let's talk tomorrow. The next day, I can't speak to you today. Let's talk in 2 days. 2 days pass. I can't speak to you today. Let's talk in a week. A week passes. I can't speak. Just over and over again. Oh my god! And if you don't believe me, I have the screenshots. I always have my proof. Oh, for that video that's coming out this week on the two people on Instagram, I've got the screenshots of them too. Oh, it was very ridiculous. I was mystified. I said, "This there is no way this is happening." I said, "Who the hell would schedule to have a call with somebody?" Like, and I'm not saying this to be funny. Out of all the 90, and I didn't get all their phone numbers, but out of all the different chicks I've spoken to, out of all the different people I have, different men I've spoken to in some cordial manner, like no one's ever done that besides her. I mean, they really acts like she's a celebrity. As annoying when people cite random stats because it shows they don't understand how statistics work. No, non-binary. You should have a woman because there's over 1 billion people on the planet. Even though some of those people are toddlers or aren't even your age and already have relationships. But yeah, there's like billions of people, so there's got to be one that says yes. Like I said, I'm so done with this stuff. This topic melts people's brains. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if you didn't like Megumi. It expands on a topic that was in the I've been criticized for everybody video. Because when I made that, not everybody for everything video, when I made that, there was a situation that was happening that I wanted to see what way it would play out before doing the video. So I think you'll find it entertaining. Personally, I was very aggravated. I said, "Why do people keep saying that this group of people is so amazing and great, but then they're trying to like come after me?" It's really weird. Those random statistics. I keep hearing about 80% of women only want the top 20% of men. I'm like, okay, what does that even mean? Like, I'm so done with this stuff. That's why when people leave comments, I don't say anything. I just let them talk to themselves. That's why they have to ambush me on streams. I've come to give you some advice. It's like, no, thank you. Wait, you have to listen to me. No, I don't know what's wrong with people. I'm really, I guess with the chick stuff, it's really disturbing that there's such a belief that you as a mortal man have to fulfill all of these different check boxes, and then you're doing that for something that you're still not guaranteed to get. Remember what that one guy said: the juice isn't worth the squeeze. You become a millionaire to try to get a woman to like you, and then she doesn't have a pot to piss in, but because her face is prettier than yours, people will say she's out of your league. And you just wouldn't see that happen with men. You would not see a woman who has money or exercises go up to some guy that's homeless, but I guess is considered attractive by people, and be turned down by him, and then be told by people that she needs to work on herself. They would say, "To hell with that bastard. Go let him sit up in his little box on Fifth Avenue. You're fine as you are. Don't let what he said to you bother you, because they would actually try to encourage that person to believe in themselves. But when you're a man, everything you do is predicated on getting with the broad. Hey Megumi, what's that thing called, the bench stall test, where it's supposed to have been fiction, where two female characters only ever discuss male characters or things related to another man, and how like it's a commentary on the depiction of women in fiction as being exclusive to their relationship with the male character. That's literally what we have. We have like a backwards version of that, where everything a man does has to be predicated on some random woman. And it's not even like a woman you even care about. Like, okay, let's say if I told Megumi, you should go to the gym because your mother will be so proud of you for taking care of yourself, or you should save your money so you can put your daughter through school or something. Like somebody that you actually at least have a justified, important relationship with. They're talking about doing this stuff for random chicks. Megumi says, yeah, it's completely insane. It's all just reinforces patriarchal, but it's like it's some kind of weird inversion of it, where everything you do as a man is like focused on like chicks. Like it's the reverse of that. I don't know what's wrong with people. No, you gotta do all this stuff for random broads. Do you believe it works when people say pray for a spouse or a healthy relationship and God will send you that special person? No. I mentioned this before. The few things I prayed for that I didn't get really hurt my faith. I prayed for a job, didn't get it. I prayed for a relative to recover. They ended up dying. Like, so you'll have to forgive me if I still believe in God. I don't believe in prayer as being a thing that actually changes something. I prayed for stuff I needed and for other people to feel well, and I was not given the results I deserved. So I will not be doing this anytime soon. The patriarchy affects men too. Well, I'm just saying that I feel like there's some other term that is more. Because when people say the patriarchy, they're talking about like women being oppressed. Uh, but I think there's some other word that might exist. I hope I don't have to coin one that can like explain this weird pushing of the woman, just random women, as being so much better than men that we all have to do all this different stuff to try and appeal to them. Mm. So I hope non-binary understands what I'm trying to say and doesn't get mad at me. He doesn't, or they rather don't get upset with me. This guy asked me if I believe that the chick stuff will change. I said, well, if you do all of these things that people tell you to do, and you have, let's say, higher standards because you've done those things, people are just going to use your higher standards against you. And like, I don't want to be in a situation where I own a bunch of money and then some woman that doesn't own anything, uh, is like the person who has to decide whether I'm good enough to date her. I think that is incredibly skewed in favor of the broad, and I don't want to participate in a system like that that is so drastically unfair. Think about just how ridiculous it is that the average woman is basically equivalent to a man who is successful financially. It's not even just that. They use, well, yeah, many celebrities, and I guarantee we've never heard that woman that acted that way. No one, I guarantee you've never heard of who she is. if I were to say her name, but like they'll use you being successful in a financial manner, and they'll say, "Oh no, this woman's face is prettier than yours," said the supposedly straight man. So she's out of your league. Yes, she doesn't have a pot to piss in. Yes, she doesn't own anything, but she's out of your league. And then when you say, "Well, hell, uh, who isn't?" You know, but that's why I said it just seems like it's this lose-lose situation. Like I don't see what is lucrative for a man to get out of really talking to women at all. Like all that happens is you get turned down and then you get attacked by other men. And then if you get with one of them, sometimes they'll beg you for money, sometimes they'll cheat on you, but you have undesirable scenarios presented to you in both instances where if you're with someone, you get the things I just mentioned. If you're not with someone, you get, verbally castigated. So I just don't see what is appealing about this. Reinforces the idea that women are possessions to be seized. That's why I don't take dating advice. It dehumanizes men. Yeah. And again, all of it is based around appealing to the woman. I have in the entire 5 years of talking about this damn thing, never seen a single person ask, what will the woman do for you? It's never happened. It's always, you need to do this, that, be funny, be smart, be this. It's one sided. And that's why I said these relationships are one sided. Remember that, Megumi, you saw the video, the I've been criticized for everything one, where I was talking about the woman who for 2 years I was trying to get with, and I was thinking of going to her school with her, and then I was like, this person doesn't even give a damn about me. To hell with it. Like that's me with every broad. You do everything to show them you're interested, and then they like just turn on you, or they never were interested to begin with. I mean, you saw the one I was willing to move in with to help her pay her crap, and then she was like, "Oh no, I'm not interested." I think I might be able to get the screenshot of where she said, "I'd rather be like single and poor," some kind of. I was like, just a complete fool. Like you said before, I was more attractive, funnier, and smarter than your fiance. That's her ex fiance. So she was either lying when she said that, or she's an idiot. Like there. So I said this stuff is like a cartoon. You know damn well if I had some woman who I would say all that stuff, all that good stuff about, willing to help me pay for something, there's no way in hell I would say no to that. Very true. Completely dehumanizes men for sure. Yeah, non-binary. You had me confused. For a minute, I thought that was an impersonator because it doesn't have the little line in between. Hey, this is the non-binary black suit saga. So before Venom was introduced, the black suit showed up in Secret Wars, and then people wrote into Marvel complaining about how could you get rid of Spider-Man's main costume? It's just as important as Superman and Batman. So he would sometimes wear the red costume and sometimes wear the black costume, except it wasn't the symbiote anymore. It was made from by Black Cat to look like the symbiote costume. That's what non-binary has, where he sometimes is on the main account with the little bird, or rather, they sometimes are on the account with the little bird, and then they're sometimes on the account with no icon. That reminds me of part-time accounts. I thought you got mad at your avatar and threw it in the trash. But going back to what I was saying, I think that video probably would be entitled, what's the way of saying it? Either way, I can't win. It would be like romance. Either way, I can't win. They would talk about how when you're not with someone, they like attack you in all these different ways. And then when you're with someone, there's all this bad stuff that can happen that people keep hush hush about. I do think people should be more aware of all the things that can go wrong. And I would say in the video that this is not meant to discourage someone into thinking that every single woman will do these things, but it is to suggest that when people try to promise you a person that they themselves have never met, they're putting a lot of faith into an individual who is fully capable of turning around and doing these things. Like if I came on here and I said my best friend would never cheat on someone and would never beg somebody for money, while I've never been in a relationship with that person, I at least have known that person for multiple years. And I could confidently assert these positive traits about this person based off of my countless interactions with them in the past. You see a difference. I would be speaking highly of someone who I know. They're speaking highly of a woman they've never met. And in a lot of cases, don't even know if they exist. I don't know. I just think this whole thing is screwed up. I think every time we play out a future scenario where I'm 30 or 40 or own whatever type of stuff, I'm just gonna be more disgusted with these chicks. Like I don't want to get with someone who doesn't own anything and then begs me for money. That already happened one time 5 years ago. I don't want a do over of that stupid saga. Like people again, they make getting with a woman seem so amazing, and then if you actually play out the scenario, there's a lot of stuff they leave out. Hmm. And especially, it's even more disturbing because you know that if it ends, you're just going to get blamed for it no matter what. Why didn't you give that money, whatever, that woman as much money as she wanted? Why didn't you forgive that woman who cheated on you? You didn't want her even if she was a gold digger. You're too picky. And like I said, they set them up to be gold diggers because they don't tell the woman they have to have money or save up or anything. Just so then when these again one-sided relationships happen, you're supposed to like be her boyfriend slash dad and pay for all of her crap. How screwed up is that? Magumi, you know damn well you would never see with that thing with the broad and the guy that was paying for the storage unit. You would never see some woman be like, "Oh, Magumi, what's that? You got yourself kicked out of your house because you ran your gums to the landlord. Don't worry, Magumi, I'll take care of you. I'll pay month after month for your crap while you cheat on me." Like you know that would never happen. You would see a woman would just start paying for like every time there's a financial exchange, it's the woman asking me for something. Only possible in a dream. But literally every time money gets involved with talking to one of these broads, it's always me offering something. The woman doesn't offer anything besides this. You give them currency, they flap their gums. What a lovely exchange. It's a great deal for you. I've just never seen a topic where you just get blamed for everything that someone else does. Like, oh, you're so smart and funny and handsome, and then 3 days later, I just think we should remain friends. I'm not interested in dating you. And then you go online. You probably uh, did something to mess this up. But this person said just gassed me up a few days ago, and then they reneged. or they, do something that is conducive to a person who doesn't feel all these, like, do they just tell everybody that they're handsome and smart and funny just over and over? Like, I don't understand, but it makes sense if you remember that you're the romance scapegoat. The things that are out of your hands under normal human conditions, you got to get chained up and carry the cross. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a fair exchange, not to mention how a lot of relationships these days are one side anyways. Yeah. And we're gonna tell you to have a bunch of money to get a woman, and then when all they do is beg you for money, we're gonna be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. Who would have thought that after telling the man that he has to have money and the woman that she's fine with whatever she has, that these types of relationships would occur? Who would have ever seen this coming?" A lot of women I've recently talked to wanted something from me and offered nothing in return. The verbal crucifixion. I'm telling you, they I really think that those like screenshots of all that nasty stuff said to me, they should be framed and displayed in the museum. Like, this is real life romantic plot tumor where, like, when there's that romance that just won't seem to happen and like it never occurs in a fictional story, or it takes a long time. That's what this is. Except on the side you have like new villains appearing because somebody's not with some. Megumi, imagine if you like thought another person was just awful because they did a video talking about how hard it was to get with women. Like, they've done nothing to you. They've never said anything that would, I guess, be offensive to you as a person, but you're not with somebody. Oh, Megumi, did you see the stream on Saturday? I'm gonna make sure if you did or not, because I gotta update you on this. Non-binary already heard this, but I'll say it here as well. So that person that left the comments about me being perpetually dissatisfied, they have a username that kind of, like, the way it looked was as if it was someone who had a brand, as in they posted stuff somewhere. So I looked their username up on Google, and I went to their channel and I saw their newest video, and it had one view. And the person actually was a woman. So what I think they do, because every time they left a comment to me, it was antagonistic, and they only left 3 comments on 2 different streams. How you doing, Ruben? I think what their aim was is to leave like weird combative comments on other bigger people's channels, which I don't even like saying it about myself, but I am getting more than one view. So that they can draw attention to themselves and have people come over to their crap, is like combative and antagonistic just for no reason. Hey, Ruben, I know you're gonna block me on Twitter after I donate to Liz Cheney. You saw the video I did where the Wyoming Republicans voted to censor her. They are really going hard on this impeachment stuff. You didn't vote the way we wanted to one time. You must resign now. I believe I only saw a little bit of the stream, but damn. Well, I tried to mention it at the start, but I was like, who does that? Where they just go on streams, they ask questions, or they like write something, and then when you respond to them, they just disappear. They do the drive-by typing. If you don't believe me, no, you know what? I was gonna post the screenshot, but I didn't crop out her like username or the video's title, and I don't want to give that person any of the attention that they like. So maybe I'll do it on Saturday where I like crop the name out and the title. That's just like that time I was on Twitter and there was a guy who said that like all homeless people are like where they are because of their own inaction, or he tried to like be really like I said, it just unnecessarily antagonistic, because I'll admit there are people who cause their own financial problem, but to say every single person who's ever had financial problems caused it is kind of a stretch. So I typed his username in on Google and I found him begging on some website for $300 to bury his dad. And I didn't put his name on there. I didn't show any pictures, but I just thought to myself, how ironic is it that you believe so heavily in this idea that if someone can't afford something, it's their fault no matter what, and then you don't even have a couple $100 to bury pops. It's like I can't show empathy to that person because they won't show empathy to anybody else. Oh, we have the message. Not that. Well, I have the message that they wrote, and I also have the screenshot of their channel. Like the newest video had 1 view. The video they had 2 days before that had 3 views. I was laughing. It's like I know what game you're trying to pull. It didn't work. Like even when I was smaller, I didn't just go to random streams. You sound like this. I looked at you. It's like, okay, relax. No, this website has driven people to do very strange, angry things. And one of them is blaming you for stuff that's out of your control. Like I have people who come to my stream and go, "How did I end up here? Why was this in my recommended? What are you doing in my recommended?" I'm like, when that happens one time, maybe it's funny, but after that, it just kind of turns into people being obnoxious because I think even children are aware of the fact that you don't control who's recommended you pop up in. Like, and you especially don't control if somebody writes a comment on your video alerting you to the fact that they've found your stream. I mean, he really made it sound like I just reached through the screen and grabbed him and put him on my stream. Imagine if there was actually a movie where I reached through the screen and grabbed somebody and then put them in the chat. Absolute hypocrite, no principles, none whatsoever, non-binary. I couldn't believe it because I don't usually look up people's names. And the one time I did on Twitter, the guy was so abundantly hypocritical. Like that was like something out of a cartoon. All people who can't afford something are there because of themselves. And then you go on this other website. I can't put my I don't have 300 to bury my dad. Please give me money. Again, I think people are really nasty. And I did have somebody come on my video talking about, that's so messed up that you mentioned him. I'm like, well, I mean, I didn't show any of his stuff. Nobody knows who he is. I protected him after he trashed me and everybody else. I remember someone came out of your stream just to say that and dip right out. Yeah, it was the same person. Because they did that in September and I didn't block them because I assumed, oh, why was this? Yeah, that was somebody else. But with that other person, they left 2 like antagonistic type comments like, why do you always wear this? And maybe you're getting the reaction you get because you did something. It's like, okay. And they left after writing that stuff, and I didn't block them because I assume when people don't like you, they're just not going to come back to your channel. And then over a week ago, here they come. I'm like, why are you back? Because I instantly remembered them from that stream. I was like, I don't need any recurring villains. I'm not Spider-Man or Batman or Superman. Because if you read like superhero comics, they actually, in a lot of those earlier issues, they're like, the last time I fought him was a couple of months ago. I'll beat him this time. Man, recurring villains on YouTube. Oh my God. So I let them write a trilogy of comments on 2 streams and they got yanked. They won't be making any more surprise guest appearances. No, I hate that so much because I don't see that. Like there are people who get way more individuals to watch their streams than me. Well, Megumi, I mean, if you go to a stream and you don't like the person and you're like just there to antagonize them, aren't you being antagonistic toward them, like villainous? Like remember in that video where the guy was like, know that it's okay like stop. It was the comment was something like stop approaching people who don't want you and know that it's okay that people don't want you. And I was like, well, if it was okay that they didn't want me, I wouldn't have people in my comment section acting like villains over not being with one of them. Like, would I look like a hero if I went around on the videos of random women or men attacking them over the way they look as they're making points about something that bothers them? Because again, there's a difference between criticizing what someone says and just attacking somebody over their appearance, which has nothing to do with the points that are being conveyed. But how heroic would I look if you did a video, Megumi, and you talked about being sick of chicks because they do this, that, and the other, and I go, you're just ugly. Like, that's the stuff of heroes. Those are protagonist actions. Yeah, they come in my comment section and act like villains. No hero writes what they wrote. Just like a big reason of why I don't watch a lot of other people's romance stuff is because they get into things I don't really care about. Like, um, I was just somebody that wanted to date, so when I start hearing about the breakdown of civilization and this ethnic group does this, in this culture they do that, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit above my interest level. Nah, Megumi, those are not heroes at all. What protagonist goes on YouTube to insult people that have never done anything to them? I swear I've read a manga where the MC was new to a school and his friend acted just like these computer clowns. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. People just don't have anything else to do. Unlike James, who was so busy he didn't come to my last 6 streams. I was so disappointed. I've been waiting for you to reappear. Another thing is that all this advice they keep going on about is catered towards the woman. Yeah, this is that you thought relationship. Wait a second, Megumi. Did you actually think relationships were supposed to be things that both the man and the woman enjoyed? No, you're supposed to do everything for the broad, and she can just coast on having that little nice triangle. So they resort to making fun of people. Yeah, but like I have people in my I had like on that what do you call it? I've been criticized for everything video. I showed a screenshot of a comment where a guy said, "Stop going after people that don't want you and know it's okay that they don't want you." And I'm like, but if it was okay, I wouldn't get harassed by other men for not being with one. If it was okay, I wouldn't have people acting like villains in my comment section and writing all this evil stuff to somebody. Like I really feel like when I go in my comment section, I don't know if I'm reading regular people or I don't know, tryouts for the Sinister Six. Like they're just or the Crime Syndicate or the Injustice League or the Masters of Evil. You need to work on yourself. Like I said, I don't know any protagonist in any work of fiction or just how anyone would call it heroic to go and insult somebody that's never done anything to them as opposed to address the arguments that are being made. So, for example, if somebody comes on there and say, "I disagree with you because this, that, and the other, you said this, I don't agree with this," because that would be a person just actually answering what's being talked about. But if somebody does a video where they're criticizing something and I say, "You're ugly," and that's my rebuttal of their points, I think that's villainous. Like, what's heroic about ignoring what somebody's saying to attack them over things that have nothing to do with what they're talking about. Especially something as nebulous as whether you find them attractive or not. Because, like I said, there are a whole bunch of broads I don't think are pretty, and they still end up with somebody. So, I'm not exactly the only eye of the beholder. Hey, the MCU should go in my comment section, and they should start like auditioning some of the people that write stuff in there to play villains in upcoming films. Not even the most poorly written antagonist. Not even. Because you know what? A lot of those superhero movies actually have villains where like, I want to get back at you because you did this and you did that. They don't sit there crying about the way they look. So they are among the most poorly written antagonists, even in real life. I agree. And like I said, if they knew what to do so much, why don't they make their own damn video? One of my subs actually said that to this one guy. He was like, "Do your own video, turn on your webcam, and articulate to us your great solution that's going to get everybody a date. Step out of the shadows, dust yourself off." Oh my god! No, the worst antagonist. Not worst as in like most dreadful or effective, just the weirdest ones. I just think it's really sad that you criticize like women over the things that they do, and then people attack you for the way you look, or you accept women for who they are while being met with intolerance. Like you accept women that are different religions, that drink even though you don't, that have tattoos even though you don't, that uh, are from different countries even though like you accept all this different stuff, and then you're met with all this intolerance. You remember the other person that on your stream who told you to make his own video, or when you told him to make his own video, he never returned? Yeah, because their whole mission is just to attack somebody from the comfort of their keyboard and pretend like something that is an issue is not that big of a deal or is instantly solvable. Like if everybody just goes to the gym, now all these chicks will like them. And like I said, I wouldn't even have a problem with them believing that they didn't try to impose it on me. I don't go around telling random men, "Don't bother wasting your time." I think it's a waste of time, but I can, like, it doesn't bother me that other people want to do it. I understand it even if I don't agree with it. It doesn't affect me. The Clown of the Weekend award. Oh, is it that one that has that username nobody can pronounce? I saw that one. If there's another one, I'll go look on your channel and see that video. Oh, I thought it was somebody else. It really getting old, them singing the same stupid songs of going to the gym. Imagine doing this extraneous workout. Megumi, I didn't show this screenshot in that video, but I do have the message where the guy said you're supposed to go to the gym every day until you get with a woman, and then after you go every day and get with this woman, you don't have to go as often. And I'm like, what? And how long are you supposed to stay up here every day? An hour, 2 hours? Like it. Jesus Christ. And then it's like if I come on here and I say women only like men who look whatever type of way. Oh my God, you're calling all of them shallow. You're so sexist. But then look at what they write to me. And again, I don't believe that because my dad has never had muscles and he got with my mother. My grandfather didn't have muscles. He got with my grandmother. Like I don't know where it just became a normal thing for you to have to do all of these extraneous steps for the chance of maybe going on a date with a random broad that, for all we know, could be overweight. Like that's the thing. They're telling you to do all this stuff for a woman they've never even seen. Like I even said that there are some instances where it makes sense to me the advice that they give. So if I were trying to get with, I don't know, some actress, right? Okay, I could understand the thing about status because that's a famous person, but these are just random chicks. And you're supposed to do all this work for that random person. Imagine an online character who has an intense training reel and they just go, I must get with the woman. They keyword here, chance of getting with the chick, not guarantee. Well, Megumi, it was the same thing with that college situation. Remember, you're supposed to like give this school all this money, including some of which you don't even own, and then you're for like the chance of getting a good job, you're gonna have to do all this work and like hope that you can pay it off. That the work you do afterward pays off all the debt. Like I said, I just didn't think it was a worthy investment. This piece of paper is not worth having this damn anchor on my leg, you know, for the next 20 years, if not longer. Like I just thought it was stupid. But again, I still have people trying to encourage me to go back to that same cycle. Yeah, that's the key word. And again, if it was, let's say, a woman who said, I will date you if you do this, that's at least something, right? But I've even seen ones who actually will say they'll date and then they'll renege because that's what happened with me and the one that agreed to get married. She agreed, and then 5 days later she reneged. But at least that would be a person giving you a guarantee that they could fulfill. You're doing all this stuff for a bunch of chicks you've never even met that are going to talk to other men anyway. And like I just don't see how it's worth the time investment. I think it's just, you know, people telling you to kick the football. Like I said, I'm just tired of it. It's really stupid. I can't believe people think this is normal. Yeah, Megumi, to go on a date with a woman, you have to go to the gym. Oh, what's that? You had classmates who never went to the gym that got with a woman? Oh, well, that was a fluke. Yeah, you have to have a bunch of money as well. Oh, you had classmates who never had a job that got with a woman or a girl or whatever. Oh, that was just a fluke. I remember the thing about being like over 6 feet, and then we have proof that the majority of people are like five something. Oh, this is insane. No, you should have seen me when I used to go on Reddit every day when I was in 11th and 12th grade. I was like, all right, time to go on Reddit and check out the women message board and see if any of them will talk to me for more than a week before they get sick of me. That really did feel like a cartoon. Just every day you log on there. This woman says she's this age and she lives over here. Let me send her a message. This one says this. So send her a message. That's when the number exploded past because like before going on Reddit, it was like 30 something. It like in person and like on Instagram or whatever. And then when I got on Reddit, it just if it doesn't fit their narrative, oh, that's just a fluke, doesn't matter. But like I said, if you live in the real world, the stuff they say is even more ridiculous. Like the people who don't want to insult you but talk about like holding out hope, right? Again, every adult I asked this question to says the same thing. They've never had it to where they just dated one person and then lived happily ever after. They always dated multiple people. Like think of how insane it is to tell someone in your entire lifetime, in this entire decade, right? Only one person will like you back. You're such a piece of garbage, worthless human being that only one person will like you back. And if you don't like that person back, or if that person decides, as some chicks are known to do, to just simply stop speaking to you at a certain point, oh no, that was your fault, and you're our Or they'll do it like this. Oh, don't worry, another one will come along, even though it took 10 years for one person to like you back. I just can't take like any of this chick stuff seriously anymore. Like it really feels like one of those what's a good way of saying it? It's like it's just a cartoon now. It's people saying stuff that doesn't happen. Or trying to gas you up with something that reality asserts is incorrect, and then like being surprised that you don't even care anymore, like you don't even bother with it. Really disturbing. Yeah, I don't know what the final like conclusion of this is going to be. You just talk to a bunch of random chicks, and then one finally says yes, and then if that person declines doing anything else, you just wait forever for another one to show up. And like so I said, it just seems like all of this stuff is geared against men. And people normalize it and make it seem like it's just something that you're supposed to experience. Or they try to make you out to be a piece of trash, and then it's like then they're surprised when you don't want to talk to women anymore if the only thing you can get from them is rejection, and then they're used for your harassment by other men. What is the point of speaking to them? Like what in that equation is remotely appealing? Here's a group of people who are going to keep doing the same thing to you year after year, and here's another group of people who are going to attack you over the decisions of people they've never met before. What a great treat. And then you're not supposed to be pissed off. You're not supposed to say it would have only taken one of these broads to break this cycle, and not a single one was willing to do it. But if you say they're all the same, you're sexist. Even though that's exactly what people in my comment section say when they tell you that you need to have a bunch of money and work out and all the rest of this trash. Like I said, the money thing will not help. Like I don't want to get with the gold digger. I don't understand why that's such a hard thing for people to figure out. Who wants to be involved with someone who only likes them for what they own? And I even said I'd rather give my best friend $1,000 before giving any of these random chicks a coin, because at least that's someone I know that was with me before I owned all this crap. It just seems like a lose-lose situation. Because, like I said, there's a Pandora's box worth of different issues that come with actually being with someone that nobody wants to address. Because they want to keep peddling this narrative of living happily ever after a woman finally says yes and goes on the date. I told you in 2016 when that gold digging clown said yes again before I found she was a gold digger. I thought it was the beginning of some new era. One of them finally said yes. One of them finally agreed, and then in less than 7 days, I got begged for money 10 times. And I'm like, this is the most anticlimactic crap I've ever seen. You guys, not just in general, people online gas up men about the greatness of being with a woman, and I was miserable. That was one of the worst weeks I've ever had. Every day, how you doing? There's this thing I want. No. How you doing? Oh, there's this. No, 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 no. But I'm supposed to believe in the greatness of women after that. I dropped $100 at a restaurant for me and my homie before drop 100 for a woman. The beginning of the end. Well, you get my point. For years people talked about, because I mentioned before the first time I got rejected was when I was in 13. I was in seventh grade in 2011, and for 5 years people were like, "Oh my God, when you get when you get a girlfriend, this is gonna happen, and this is gonna be so amazing." And it was trash. It's one of the worst experiences I've ever had with a human being. I mean, it was completely anticlimactic. You know what? There's a guy on Discord. Just another example of what I'm talking about here. I met this person in early 2019, and he had some problems with this other person in the server. And the other person in the server, he would call them a hacker and say that they were going to come on VCs. Like, I don't care. Made him out to be the sinister figure, right? So for months, he keeps talking about how evil this guy is. He's so bad. And they finally get in a VC together in October. And I'm just so excited because I want to hear them argue back and forth with each other at last. And when they get in the VC together, this is what happens. Yeah, I already said hello to him. How you doing? Oh, what's up? And I'm like, that was so anticlimactic. You spend months making this man out to be this nefarious, sinister figure, and then you finally get around him and you're giving him a virtual handshake. It was the same thing with getting with that broad. When that happened, I was so excited. And then like the following week, it's back to square one. Because that was, I had made a few romance videos at that point, but that was before most of the, like when that happened, there was no why prostitutes are better than girlfriends. There was no why don't approach. None of that stuff existed yet. It's like between that and then that other chick that had the boyfriend that like came up in my face after she approached me. It's no wonder that video got made a few months later. I still want to make that top 10 worst experiences with women video. I told you that like people really act like it's just an easy thing for a man to be like, no, I'm not going to talk to chicks anymore. But I really sat there for days just thinking about it. I said, let's take this gang raped, broken down mess of a love life and wrap it up. Yeah, that gold digger thing was really disturbing. But see, that was the first sign that relationships weren't as good as people said they were. Like all that stuff they do. Oh my God, when you get with the woman, she's gonna do this and this and this and this. It's like, no, she's gonna beg you for money every single goddamn day until you wash your hands with her. I really wish I still had those text messages, but I changed phones later that year, so I don't have them. Because I know there are people who like to doubt stuff I say, but if you could see how she acted before and then after this relationship started, you would know that what that Decepticon was planning. What a first experience of a relationship, damn. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, so the first time you approach a woman or a girl, whatever, you get rejected, and the first time you get accepted, you get begged for money every day. And who knows how long that would have gone on if I hadn't have cut it off. I just think there's like those little examples should be all the proof you need of how rotten and nasty and ridiculous a lot of chicks are. Because people online gas you up. Oh yeah, man, if you do this and you've got the game, and then you, even when you get with one, you still lose. Even when you succeed in getting one to want to go on a date or reciprocate, you still lose. Like if you said you have the option of either getting with this gold digger again, who's going to beg you for money every single day until the end of foreseeable time, or being by yourself, I would pick the latter. Like my little brother doesn't even get to beg me for money. And that's somebody that I love. And so if he can't beg me for money, there's no way in hell some random bro is going to be able to. A gold digger, not a person who actually wanted you. But this is what I was talking about. People pretend that relationships are so great and amazing, which is why they try to like hold them over your head and hang you by the fact that you're not with a woman, but they don't like to factor in experiences like that, which are genuinely miserable for people who supposedly are in the in crowd or get accepted by one of them. Well, I already knew the flaw. I told you that that thing with that dingbat with the baby was simultaneous and longer lasting than my personal experience with that clown. Man, people online just love playing. They really act like it's a Disney movie. We're gonna break out into a musical, and then there's gonna be this chick that looks so great to everybody, and then you walk off into the sunset with her, and then in the post-credit scene, she starts begging you for money, and then you go to the ATM to get her something, and then you see her making out with some other guy. That's why I said people have really turned this stuff into just I don't even know what this is. That's why I said romance isn't even about actually enjoying being with the woman anymore. It's this weird strategic simulation. Own this, have that. Just another aspect of experience they wanted to sweep under the rug like it never happened or it's illegitimate. They're real lucky I didn't get I don't have screenshots of that stuff. Sense because all it is just people trying to get something out of you and then hoping that you're horny enough to put up with their ridiculous requests or demands. And then the ones that are apparently are not going to do that, yeah, it is kabuki theater. The ones that apparently are not going to do that are going to tell you that they like you in all these different ways, but then refuse to go on a date with you. And then when you get upset over that, oh my God, you're going to do something to somebody. 5 years of people hyping up romance, and that's what you get. I mean, technically it was 4 years, but when you get with the woman, it's so great and amazing, and blah, blah, blah. And then you finally get with one, and she's begging you for money every day. I said, so the best we can do is a gold digger and 90 rejections. That's my fate. This is my destiny as it pertains to the opposite sex. How appealing. The reason I said that this stuff was geared toward women as opposed to men is because I've never seen a single man that was with a woman ask her for anything, for wealth anyways. Like it just they don't get these types of ridiculous requests where they have to foot a bunch of bills for no reason. Whole thing just sucks. It's I really am sorry that people have turned something that sign monster where it's always someone trying to get something out of you. And then people who weren't there use these people as a way to attack you. So relationship romance, I guess the topic of it is more so women trying to get something out of you and men trying to use women they've never met to cyberbully you with. Though that's the legacy of modern romance. What a lovely topic and idea. So yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. I've gone for an hour and a half. Thanks for showing up. Um, I just wish things were different. I wish that chicks didn't beg people for money, especially people that are not their parents. I wish that it wasn't easier to go in a thunderstorm and dodge rain than it was to get a date. I wish that if you have an opinion that is different from someone else's, you weren't automatically lumped into romance groups that you never signed up for. It's all just bad, again, with this chick stuff. And it's really not a big surprise as to why people don't want to bother with them anymore. So, see ya.